As you already mentioned earlier, about the, since you already mentioned earlier that the expenditure we spend on education is more, but the outcomes are disastrous or poor. So how can we utilize the same expenditure for so that we can ensure the quality education for everyone?
Your name?
Shruti, sir.
Shruti, thank you. Great question. You know, it's one of the, a beautiful example. We are spending money. Let's take school education. Andhra Pradesh is spending 90,000 rupees per child per year. Do you know that? You take the total expenditure per year on school education, you take the total number of children in schools. There's no genius here. Simple arithmetic. How much they're spending is no. How many kids are there or no? You divide the 90,000 rupees per child. Now 90,000, I guarantee you, is a pretty decent amount of money. Actually, 35 to 40,000, around 50,000, you can give very good education in India. There are schools giving at 20,000, 25,000 very good education in India. It's not possible at 5,000, 6,000. So money is not a problem. Two, do the kids want to study? Are the kids intelligent? There is no doubt whatsoever. Indian kids are as bright as anybody else. Three, do the parents care? I already mentioned this, you all know. None of you have been here without your parents. They love you to death. They do whatever it takes to give you a chance in life. They sacrifice enormous sums even when they don't have enough. They postpone their needs. And they spend, I have seen a taxi driver who was driving me around in Bangalore a couple of months ago when I went for a conference. He told me that he was spending for his child in preschool education 80,000 rupees per year. And in his family, he and his brother, they all live together in the same house. His brother has 2 kids, the 3 of them together, 3 kids. That family, poor family, is spending 2,50,000 rupees. What more can you ask of society? Society values education. You get into Stanley College, right? We are all trying. Mosquito control, we all shut the doors, we all have this mesh, and we all have the all out or all night or whatever. Water supply, we all have our own water harvesting, our own borewell. Power, we all have our own UPS or something. This is inefficient because we have already agreed that the government has failed. But that's not the way a good system should be organized. And other amenities, anyway, they don't provide, therefore I have a gated community. So we are seceding from the country. Those who can afford, we are basically seceding from the country, creating our own small enclave. That is acknowledging failure of the government. But that's not a very effective way. It's very inefficient. You don't get optimal results. For the colony, it appears optimal. For the country, it is suboptimal. Again, I don't want to go into details. Apart from being, why the hell is the government? The question that, what's your name? Manichandran asked, then why are you looting money if you don't provide anything? Apart from that moral question, even economically it is suboptimal. You spend more to get less. That's not wise. So, purpose of government. And then after these infrastructure needs are met, there is heavy rainfall, stormwater drainage, which individual can provide? The state has to provide. Sewerage, we have to pay. Even if we pay, the basic system has to be built by somebody. The drainage system, the sewerage system, water supply, etc. or electricity. But that's not enough. In the modern era, last 100, 200 years, we went further. Education as industry, technology, higher production is possible now without merely human muscle power or the animal draft power. That's what industrial revolution is about. You require the ability to think, the skills. Therefore, education. The states providing education without a burden on the parents, at least school education. Otherwise, generation after generation, the poor will remain poor, unskilled. The rich will always get the benefit. Then how are we a modern society? Not only is it immoral, it's also dysfunctional because if the bulk of the people are unskilled, economy is going to be dragged down. That's what's happening in India today. When too many people are unskilled or illiterate or half literate or half baked, then all of us drag ourselves down. So not only is it a moral issue, it's an economic issue. Similarly, healthcare. Healthcare is the biggest cause of impoverishment in our country, for instance. 5.5 crore people are becoming poor in India every year. They are descending into poverty because of ill health. Healthcare is the biggest, health failure is the biggest cause of low productivity. Therefore, it's not merely a moral issue of somebody is suffering, why should he not get treatment? It's also an economic issue, the national issue. We need it for ourselves. So these are the basic roles of the government. Some of them government will ask you to pay. The road toll may be there, electricity tariff has to be there, water supply metering must be there, but the basic provisioning must be by a collective entity. So that is the first part. First, understanding the role of the government. Instead, what are we doing? I build a factory, modern bread, to make bread. Why should we require government to make bread? Tomorrow government will make dosha also, or uttapam also, or pizza. Why do you require government to do that? I have plenty of options. Or watches. I wore 35 years HMT watch. Ultimately, my watch repairer said, sir, that company is closed down, they are no longer manufacturing, there are no spare parts, please sir, stop that. Then my son gave me this watch, which is very similar to that watch, because I am nostalgic, very similar frame and all that, very relatively low cost. Still it's very high cost for me. I believe it cost 4,000 or 5,000, for me the heart is breaking, my God, 5,000 rupees watch. But it's not the government's business to make a watch. 20 lakh crores in this country we put into public sector undertakings. In the last 5-6 years, 6 lakh crores we put into banks alone because they all messed up. And some of these banks, their capital today, their market value is less than the money we put in the last 5-6 years. So misallocation. The second is inefficiency. We all discussed that. What is engineering? How do you produce the most outcome with the least input? That is good engineering. That's good administration. We failed. Third is monumental corruption. How do you address them? There are many ways. You must address corruption, you must have service guarantee law, you must have accountability systems, you must punish, etc. But a simple thing, the question that your principal raised. What happens in my apartment complex? I pay every month maintenance fee. That's a tax. I don't pay to some big distant government. I pay to a small local, you call it government, a collective entity called the Apartment Welfare Association. We all have elected a man called Mohit Bhalla, his real name, because we have trust, we have faith in him. He is competent. We trust him. He is taking care of that. Now, I know why I am paying this money. My lift must operate well. I must get regular water supply to my house, municipal water supply or the borewell water supply. The parking must be properly done, and watch and ward must be there. Everybody, Tom, Dick and Harry cannot come to my house and invade my privacy. Right? I mean, there are some basic things. Supposing the lift does not function, what do? Will I keep quiet? I'll pick it the phone and say, Mohit bhai, kya ho raha hai? He'll say, Saab, no, I'll get it done by tomorrow or something. Or other things. So what's happening? There is a complete understanding of where my money is going. And if it's not benefiting me, I know that I am being shortchanged. If Mohit Bhalla is doing a good job, I know he's doing a great job, I respect him, I need him. Then democracy works. The more distant it is, the more disconnected your taxes and the services is received. The vote you give and the consequences to your life, the more disconnected they are, it will be mediated by money for the vote, mediated by freebies, my Yodunga, JP Saab, every month I'll pay you 100 rupees instead of providing you the lift service or the water supply. That's what's happening in the country. If Mohit Bhalla does it in my apartment complex, I'll beat him up because I know with my money, you want to give me 100 rupees instead of repairing my lift and getting me water supply. But the citizen is not asking that because citizen has given up. He doesn't know who does what. So KCR comes and says this, some other person comes and says this. First they give money, that's why 93% voted yesterday. They became such wonderful citizens that they love our democracy, they all wanted to vote. Is it because they love the country? And money is not enough, so what is that they are offering or what is they saying? I am giving you this, I am giving you this. With our money, They give short-term freebies without doing their actual job, impoverishing me further. I am not allowed to understand that. Once that happens, the loot is inevitable. So the fight should not be about taxation. It's about utilization and building an institutional mechanism to make delivery happen. These are not enemies. KCR and Modi are not our enemies. They are part of the vicious cycle. AB plus first guy. They are also trapped in that. So are there ways to get us out of this morass? That's the way you should think. I'm glad you asked the right question. But don't make it them versus us. They are not different. They are us. We are them. And they are not evil. We are not angels. We are all part of this together. We messed up. Now how do we come out of the mess? At least some of us, more thoughtful people, people whose word has greater value, who have some influence or some position of power, can we reimagine, rethink, alter the incentives, as the economists call, and therefore change the behavior, and therefore change the outcomes? It's not rocket science. It's not impossible. That's what every civilized country does. We are doing it on occasion okay, on occasion badly, but we are still stumbling. Okay? My whole life's work is that.
Like and subscribe Eagle Media Works.